What's up, everybody? So, today's day one of me shooting a video every day for 30 days. And so, today I thought I'd share the first 2 chapters from a book I'm working on, my memoir, in fact. So, when I don't have any other things to talk about, I will share the chapters from my book that I'm working on. Perhaps this will be how I refine and edit and get ideas to expand on for my book. So, here we go. Prologue. There's many things, experiences, the details of which I hesitate to share, and at the moment of writing this, I am not certain which are essential or important. This being my first draft, I'm simply going to write down everything that I remember. Again and again I have come back to this. Write a book, a memoir of sorts. I feel compelled. Called? In this moment, I'm not sure how much of it is for me and how much of it is for you. In this moment, my story is still somewhat of a mystery to me. Looking back, I can see how and why I fell down some holes. I can make out some patterns. But the fullness of the picture evades me. I cannot yet say I am grateful for everything that has happened to me. I pray that by the end of publishing this book, God willing, I will be able to. Looking back and reflecting on what my life coulda, woulda, shoulda been, I feel blindsided. Is this what I signed up for? For what seemed like forever, I felt like the one who received the one talent and went away and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Worse, I felt like I was given 5 talents and buried them all. I cling to the hope that the Lord will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. Regret is possibly the heaviest burden. Before I became a Christian, I always had my next life to look forward to continue the work. It is a unique path in some regards. That part I asked for. I was determined from a young age to be different. I always felt different, for better or for worse. And so it shouldn't be too surprising that I found myself head first in alternative spiritual paths, tracing pentagrams in the air, studying Kabbalah, and eventually drinking ayahuasca in the jungle, fasting on the mountainside, eating peyote in the desert, etc., etc., etc. Although addiction and pride are not unique, especially today in a culture that celebrates and encourages both, they took me on a journey that I wasn't quite prepared for. A journey that built me up and broke me again and again, and yet kept me coming back. In this moment, I'm not sure which part was rock bottom or where exactly I am in the valley. Pinocchio, Peter Pan, Jonah, Parsifal, a little bit of all of them, I suppose. How much of my path was me paying for, playing out the sins of my fathers? I cannot say. How much of my suffering was necessary? Well, here we are. I pray that through writing this, I come to a greater degree of understanding and wholeness and compassion for myself, my brothers and sisters, and the world, and that I come to love God a little bit more. I hope it can give a greater meaning to my suffering and help someone else out there who has tasted hopelessness, who has felt alone, who has feared that they would never come back, who has thought that they are evil, unredeemable, lost forever, who has asked themselves, will I ever feel whole? Will I ever just be able to live? This is for you. Keep going. Chapter 1. Who am I? I stood in the middle of the street in panic. I don't know who I am, I wailed in humiliation. A few hours previous, I had ingested 4.4, not quite a heroic dose in weight, but certainly in potency, of mutant penis envy mushrooms that my stepbrother grew in his attic. I washed them down with marijuana smoke from a blunt that I shared with my 2 friends. The setting, the upstairs bedroom of a filthy house in East Point, a city just north of Detroit. I wasn't yet 21. Jonathan Pageau mentioned a saint, saying something like, what Adam saw when he took a bite of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil was Christ on the cross. And this, being too much for him, certainly not what he was expecting, is what caused him to flee the garden in panic and fear. I think there's something here. I think this intuition, whether technically true or not, explains what happened to me better than anything else I've come across. This was my first encounter with Christ. And well, in short, I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to die. It would be many years and many more hell trips before I would come around. After much tussle, the 4 police officers that came onto the scene, pepper spray and 50,000 volts from a taser, I finally surrendered. As they lifted me up off the ground, it was as if the facade of this world faded away and I was Christ on the cross. It's as if Christ on the cross was the reality. Footnote, Philip K. Dick has some interesting things to say along these lines in his exegesis. Premature revelation? I don't recommend it. Icarus, Prometheus, even Carl Jung warns, beware of unearned wisdom. Some of us don't heed the warning and carry the scars for the rest of our days. A mentor of mine told me that we keep the scars, but they become the seeds of compassion for the world. Let's be honest. I asked for it. Ever since I read The Giver, I wanted to be Jonas, the receiver of memories. Rather, I identified with Jonas, although I didn't realize it then. This was my first encounter with the shaman archetype, and it was this archetype of the shaman or the wise man that would possess my imagination and subconsciously lead me down this path, the path of the wounded healer, perhaps, and finally, to the physician himself. So, that's what I wrote the other day. We'll see. We'll see what makes it into the final piece, huh? But yeah, thanks for listening, and like I said, for the next 29 more days, I will be sharing either a piece of my writing or some thoughts I have on the culture, coaching, Christianity, the New Age, things of that nature. So please share in the comments thoughts, feelings, similar experiences, feedback, positive or negative, and I appreciate it. So God bless and take care now. Thank you.